Hi everyone. Now today's our topic is prevention of cross contamination in food processing industry, catering industry and in kitchen. In this video we will discuss about what is cross contamination, types of cross contamination, how to prevent the cross contamination. My dear QA and QC technologists working in food industries, different food industries, don't skip the video. Please watch the video till the end. If you like the video, share it to your food community. Now let us start the video. Cross contamination. Yes, cross contamination is the transferring of harmful microorganisms into the food by humans activity and improperly cleaned equipments or improperly washed food material into the ready to eat food. Now the types of cross contaminations. The first one is contamination by humans. Yes, humans can easily transfer the harmful microorganisms or harmful bacteria into food. Yes, in this direct cross contact will occur when the human beings or when the employee comes from the restrooms without washing properly hands, then he can directly cross contact the food material by harmful microorganisms. That is one example. And the second one is during food preparation, the human beings will touch their hands into their aprons or their coat, and again they will touch the food product. That is also the cross contaminations. And the third best example is during food preparations, if you use any cell phones or intercoms, also the mobile phones also containing lakhs of microbial load. That is also the cross contamination by humans. These are the few examples of cross contaminations. Now the second step is adding of contaminated food to the non-contaminated food. That is also the kind of cross contamination. Examples: if you mix the food material which are not properly washed into the properly washed food material, also leads to the cross contamination. Or the second one is if you mix the improperly cooked material into the properly cooked material, also leads to the cross contamination. And the third example also, see, whenever if we prepare to eat any raw salads, the raw salads contains improperly washed lettuce. That is also leads to the cross contamination. Yes, the lettuce contains Campylobacter bacteria or some protozoa. In our kitchen, if we keep the green leafy vegetables besides RTE foods, ready to eat foods like sambaru or some other food items, then it also leads to the cross contamination during storage also will occur. Or in your kitchen, if you cut the chickens, raw chickens, and the same cutting board you use to cut the raw eating vegetables or raw eating fruits without proper washing of cutting. Now the third step is bacteria like harmful bacteria, Salmonella or Listeria monocytogenes can survive on food contact surfaces for a longer time. If improperly cleaned food contact surfaces, equipments or tables or utensils or freezing equipments or conveyor belts, if improperly cleaned, or the adjacent to the food contact surfaces also improperly cleaned, this may lead to the post-lethality contamination of pathogenic bacteria. Yes, if equipment is not properly cleaned, which also leads to the direct allergen cross contact. Yes, if you process the material and the equipment, allergic materials, or if you treat the product streams, sulfate-treated products passed down through the equipments, then after that non-sulfate-treated products you can pass the same equipment improperly washed or sanitized, which may contain residuals of sulfides. That is the good example. Let us discuss about what are the control measures. How can we prevent the cross contamination in food processing industry or catering industry or in kitchen? Number one, food processing establishment should have a designated area for the process steps like pre-processing activity or raw material receiving area, and processing activity or grading activity and cooking activity. For keeping of dry chemicals, keeping of wet chemicals, keeping of food grade chemicals, keeping of non-food grade chemicals, there should be a designated or there should be a separate areas for handling the different sections in different process. Second step is by giving color coding to the utensils or equipments, crates, basins, tubs, These are all by giving the color coding section wise different colors, distinguishable colors. We can prevent the movement of equipments from low risk to high risk areas. Yes, low risk is highly contaminated microbial load than high risk. High risk is less contaminated microbial load. We can control. Then third step is by giving color coding aprons, color coding garments, color coding uniforms, we can control the workers movement also in different sections of the food processing industry. That is also the good example. Now the fifth preventive measure is the food facility employees who are entering into the food processing area. We should monitor them if they are carrying with them any tablets or medicines or any eating food items into the food processing area. We have to monitor and we have avoid those things. That is also the fifth step. Now the sixth step is, this is very important step. The sanitizing or cleaning equipments like brushes or scrubbers is for handling of waste products. We should maintain the separate color coding materials or waste bins, waste receptacles, separate color coding, because waste bins contains high microbial load. Those kind of the waste bins cannot be used into the finished product handling. Now the next step is the food facility should have unidirectional flow system. Yes, there should be a unidirectional mechanism from raw material to shipment, and the waste product also in opposite direction. It should have the provisions for the waste should go in opposite way, and water, waste water drainage system also it should go in the opposite way. And now the next step is RM, raw material receiving to pre-processing, and pre-processing chute to processing, processing chute to high risk area, or cooking chute to warehouse cold store chute. Every section we have the chute doors to pass the food material. At that places we have to keep the blinds to prevent the contamination air, because low risk area contains maybe microbial load is more than high risk areas. So we have to maintain the strip curtains or blinds each and every chutes of every sections. Visitors, we have to educate our sanitary rules in our facility, and we should accompany one person with the visitors, and visitors should be color coded aprons and color coded uniforms. We should give the instructions how to sanitize their hands when they enter into the high risk or low risk area. The next step is the food facility should have a adequate ventilation facility. Yes, we should have the exhaust fans. Yes, exhaust fans will send out the contaminated air into the outside, and especially in the high risk areas we should have the positive airflow mechanism. Filtered air we have to supply with the high pressure. So that is also one example of prevention of cross contamination. And the last important one is the prevention of cross contamination. Whenever the workers wishes to go into the restrooms or toilets, they should change over the uniforms and aprons, and after coming also they should follow the sanitary guidelines. That is also the good examples of the prevention of cross contamination. Friends, that's all about the video. Don't skip the video. Please watch the video until then. If you like the video, comment on the video and share it to your food community.